A personality isn't born, it's built. One block at a time. Some blocks are gifts, childhood curiosity, early friendships. Others are scars, abandonment, betrayal, failure. But every block, every life event stacks into shape until one day a person is not just formed, they are defined. Steve Jobs didn't just change technology, he redefined how we interact with the world. To understand his genius, we must trace the blocks that built him. Understand that genius. He is built on values, reason, comradeship, and family. To understand his genius, we must trace the blocks that built him. This is the context timeline of Steve Jobs. In 1955, a boy is born in San Francisco and almost immediately given up for adoption. His name is Steve Jobs. He would later call this his first wound, abandonment, a silent engine that would drive his obsession with control, with perfection, with being seen as chosen. In the early 1960s, growing up in Silicon Valley, young Steve is already restless. He challenges teachers, questions authority, and rarely plays by the rules. By the time he's 12, he's calling computer company CEOs asking for parts. He meets another gifted misfit, Steve Wozniak. Together, they begin imagining machines not yet built. But even as a kid, Jobs sees the world in binary: genius or idiot, visionary or fool. In 1972, at age 17, Jobs drops out of Reed College after just one semester. He stays on campus anyway, sleeping on floors, sneaking into classes. One course in calligraphy, elegant but impractical, leaves a deep impression. Years later, it shapes the design of the Macintosh, proof that beauty, even when useless, is never wasted. In 1974, at age 19, he travels barefoot across India, seeking spiritual truth. He returns as a minimalist, a Buddhist, quieter, but still fiercely intense. Simplicity becomes sacred. This is where his design philosophy is born. Clarity, space, silence. Back in California in 1975, Jobs works at Atari, building games, skipping showers, and challenging everyone. He manipulates Wozniak into building a circuit, lies about the bonus, and keeps the extra money. It's not greed, it's control. Jobs is learning how to bend reality and the people around him to fit the world he sees. In 1976, at age 21, he and Wozniak build their first computer in a garage. They call the company Apple. Jobs isn't an engineer, he's a visionary. He doesn't just want function, he wants elegance. Technology should be invisible, intuitive, even emotional. It's not just a product, it's a revolution. By 1983, Jobs has a daughter, Lisa, with his girlfriend, Chrisanne Brennan, but he denies paternity, refuses support, and distances himself. Ironically, he names a computer Lisa, then lies about what it means. Jobs can connect ideas beautifully, but people, only on his terms. In 1984, the Macintosh launches with a dramatic Super Bowl ad. It's groundbreaking, sleek, user-friendly, and expensive. Sales stumble. Jobs clashes with the board. His vision is pure, but impractical. And soon, the company turns on him. In 1985, at just 30, Jobs is fired from Apple, the company he founded. Publicly humiliated, privately shattered, he loses not just a job, but an identity. He calls it the best thing that ever happened to him, because loss forces clarity. And from that clarity, something new begins. In the late 1980s, he builds Next, a computer company that fails commercially, but quietly creates brilliant software. At the same time, he buys a tiny animation studio. He renames it Pixar. And in 1995, Toy Story becomes the first feature-length animated film made entirely on computers. Through Pixar, Jobs learns patience, trust, and the power of story. It softens him slightly. In 1997, Apple is failing. Jobs returns, but he's changed. He's sharper, calmer, more ruthless. He slashes products, simplifies design, and relaunches the brand. The iMac arrives, then the iPod, then the iPhone, then the iPad. One by one, he reshapes entire industries. This isn't just redemption, it's domination. In 2003, Jobs is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He delays surgery, hoping alternative therapy might work. It doesn't, but facing death sharpens his vision even further. He says, "Remembering I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered." Mortality becomes his final teacher. On October 5th, 2011, Steve Jobs dies at age 56. But the products he shaped and the people he changed remain. He reinvented the phone, the computer, the way we buy music, the way we see design. But more than anything, he proved that a man's flaws can live beside his brilliance. Steve Jobs was not born a genius. He was built, block by block, through rejection, obsession, silence, fire. He was brilliant. He was difficult. He was never safe, but he was unforgettable. And in the end, every block of his story, even the broken ones, became part of the future we now live in.
The algorithm is pushing us into a rat race, but with wisdom, we seek an escape. Here at House of Wisdom, we delve into topics that challenge conventional narratives. That's why our channel is dedicated to uncovering the true context of history, piecing together fragments to reveal a more accurate and inclusive story. Understanding history is crucial. It shapes our identity, informs our decisions, and helps us learn from past mistakes. By uncovering the true stories of our ancestors, we can better appreciate the diverse tapestry of human experience and build a more informed and empathetic world. Our goal is to bring you well-researched and engaging content that sheds light on the true stories. But we can't do it alone. We need your support. Please subscribe, like, and share. While most of our timeline is trying to brain drain, let's focus on brain gain.